What's up, YouTube? It's your girl, Sage Valentine, and I'm back here to do another review. This is a review of basically episode 4, but this is the eviction night review. These are the reviews that I'm going to do simply because I find it very hard to do the Sunday and the Wednesday reviews, so I'll probably try to compile everything into one specific video. So here goes. Alrighty, so you have Cody as the HOH, Kevin and Keisha's nominees. Enzo won the veto and decided not to use it. And that's pretty much where we are until Big Brother shows us all the flashbacks of everything that has happened the past couple of days. All right, I did not do the review of Sunday's episode, but I was able to watch Sunday's episode. And in that one, I was kind of looking at Cody like, dude, you have all these threats in the house and you decide to get rid of Kevin and Keisha. Out of every threat in the house, Kevin and Keisha are about down here. Like, you literally had Cody. I know he's a lot. Cody. Tyler. I'm as bad as Keisha, forgetting the names. Tyler and Nicole Francel. You have Enzo, even though you're aligned with him. But his main goal at first was to nominate Janelle and Kaysar. So in winning the super safety suite, they kind of put a kibosh on all of that. Then we made it to the veto competition, but not before like a bunch of alliances popped up. That's the thing about this week. There's like a crap load of alliances. I mean, it's like, as they said in tonight's episode, it's like Bailey and Day, Cody and Memphis, Cody and Enzo, Cody and Tyler, Cody and Nicole, Tyler and everybody. There's so many alliances, it's hard to keep up with them. So anyway, we get to the, as I said, the safety suite. Kaysar won, and obviously he took Janelle as his +1. And I'm not surprised because they were cool both times they played. I'm also not surprised that Kaysar was the one who decided to play in that competition, him and Janelle, because they would be foolish not to think that Cody was not going to target them. Let me know how you feel about what I said. But anyways, all right. We get to the veto competition, which was like them riding bananas. It was like banana peloton or something like that, and they were riding back and forth, and Enzo was doing a good job, and that was pretty funny. That Big Brother kind of slowed down the edit and had them rocking back and forth on those things. It was, especially Enzo's, where like they played like this like sultry music, and then they opened up tonight's episode 4 with it. Hilarious. You guys did a good job. I know. Some of you are watching this like, Sage Valentine, you're not like pissed off and upset about this season. No, because the thing about it, like I told Nick Guy 01 on Twitter, I was like, listen, even the people I kind of didn't like during their seasons, I'm okay with them. I'm all right with them. There's nobody that I cannot stand on this season. I didn't agree with what they did in the game, but at the same time, like, I'm just cool with everybody. So to answer Nick Guy's question again, I'm cool. I'm on an even playing field with everybody. I'm judging your gameplay. Alrighty, so Enzo basically won the veto and decided not to use it. I'm not surprised. Part of me feels bad because Kevin really didn't have any friends in the house. So he kind of aligned himself with Enzo. But initially, Enzo had said to Kevin, listen, I'm going to do what Cody needs me to do, but right now I can't really help you. And then when he played in the veto, I guess Kevin had more hope that he was going to be saved, and unfortunately that didn't happen. But you can't blame Kevin for holding on to a teensy tiny bit of hope. I'll talk more about Kevin later on. So Enzo didn't use the veto. And we got ourselves here. Ooh, I think I pulled my sides, so if you see me go like, ooh, that's what happened. Anyway, Enzo's like, he had to protect Cody, and there are bigger threats in the house to be taken out. There sure are. Kevin said hopefully he made enough connections that can save him. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I could have sworn that Kevin was put up on the block, and this was from me getting tidbits from like Twitter and from watching the feeds the couple times that I did in the past few days and this weekend. Kevin was initially supposed to be the pawn. So as soon as I heard that, I was just like, well, Keisha's going to end up going. So Kevin said hopefully he made a connection that can save him. Keesha didn't want to be the first person to leave. Every time she said that, even on the feeds, I was just like, unfortunately, they're going to make you leave. All right, so Cody's pretty much leaving it up to the house. So I think if I can like paraphrase what he said, he wanted the votes to go to a certain way, but he didn't want to be the one to spearhead it. So he kind of left it in the hands of the house, so to speak. So anyway, Janelle, because they pretty much are Janelle's talking to Keesha, and she kind of says, you know, to us, it's better if Keesha stays for my game and for Kaysar's game. But Keisha's going to need to campaign. In other words, Janelle's like, listen, it's better for her to stay for our games, but listen, she's going to have to do this herself. Then Cody has a basically bond session with Memphis, so they get together and they create an alliance called the Commission. All right. Then Bailey and Tyler are kind of talking. The last time, as you know, in season 20, was it season 20? Yeah, it was season 20. They had bad blood. So Tyler has to make sure that Bailey is not after him. And neither of them think that anybody thinks that they are cool and on solid ground together. Bailey's like, listen, this is just a new game. We're just going to play it like this. Then somebody said in one of the scenes that the 16 shaker bottles arrived. Now, every time I hear about a shaker bottle, I keep thinking about how Jack was kind of antagonizing Kimmy for putting her shaker bottle in the refrigerator. And, you know, I just really don't want to think about season 21 right now, but that was the memory that came to my head. So Janelle's pretty much sick of her costume. I can only imagine. It's cute, don't get me wrong, but like that whole big bulky thing, all those costumes, whenever people have to wear them for their punishment, to me always look very, very uncomfortable. So we get to Kevin. Kevin is very worried. He has every right to be, because the vote could go either way. Even though they were saying at this point, like, listen, Kevin is the pawn, still, Kevin doesn't know this, so the vote could go either way. So Nicole tells Kevin, listen, I trust you. And they agree to have a final two deal. They both are outcasts. They both like rainbows. They bond. And even though I'm not sure of if they have an alliance name or not, if they do, let me know in the comments. But it was so cute how they called each other a unicorn. They said 2 unicorns. And I think Kevin said something about it basically equals a blessing. All right. So Cody and Memphis, aka the Commission, are just like, listen, we don't need anybody to know that we're in an alliance, so we need a cover. So then here comes Memphis out of the two of them. And side note, when it hits the fan and Cody needs to protect himself, he's going to say, well, Memphis was the one who found such and such and such and such and such and such. Yeah, that's probably how it will go either way, but Cody could cover himself by like throwing Memphis under the bus through that. But anyway, this other alliance of 4 that's going to basically add to the 2, even though they don't know the 2 are together, includes Danny, Nicole Francel, Christmas, and Tyler. And as I said before, Memphis pretty much wrangled that 4 together. So it comes basically to a point where the house guests have to figure out, you know, who is best to keep in the house, Keesha or Kevin. Keesha says that she needs to campaign for 7 votes. She feels like she has Janelle and Kaysar, and then she starts calling Tyler Taylor, and Janelle's just like, you're an all-stars, like, you gotta know these people's names. You can't mess up these people's names. Still funny, though, either way. So Davon said that she's close to Bailey and Enzo, which on the feeds they are. I've seen a lot of conversations where it's happening between them. They seem really, really cool. So they decide, Davon, Bailey, and Enzo, to make a final 4 deal with Cody. All these deals happening in this house so early. Like, dude, a lot of them are going to blow up pretty fast. But back to this. They could be a foursome. All right. The thing is, no one will find out about them because no one will see them coming. That is smart, because who would think that Cody and Enzo would align with Bailey and Davon? Let me know if you would have seen it coming, because it surprised me when I found out. So basically, Bailey and Davon are looking at Cody and Enzo like they would be great shields for their alliance. And if they both get taken out, Davon's like, well, them's the breaks. So Cody inquires with a couple house guests, like, who should we keep, Keesha or Kevin? Christmas says she wants to keep the one that they can beat, which is Keesha. See, they think Kevin's weak. Kevin's not a weak player. Not if I remember correctly. Kevin is not a weak player. Not at all. Davon was like, listen, Kevin could be an ally. Memphis is like, Keesha can go. I should have known Memphis was going to say Keesha, because don't forget, Memphis backstabbed Keesha during their season, so I'm not even surprised by that. Nicole Francel says she likes Kevin. He's very genuine. And Cody is like, it seems like I got the numbers to keep Kevin and kick out Keesha. So then we get to the final speeches. And Keesha says, it's been amazing. You have to do what's best for you. She's telling the other house guests. She felt some sort of energy, so she knew that she was in danger. And she wishes most of the house guests the best of luck. Kevin said he came in feeling like a tiny comet. Like, comet in the sky. Anyway, he connected with many of the house guests, and they helped him find his inner light. Some people on Tumblr were saying that, that speech was corny, or those speeches were corny. I actually thought they were kind of cute. Anyway, we get down to the vote and eviction. And at first, David goes in, and this is his first time voting, so this is like a major milestone for him in the game, because remember last year, he couldn't vote, and he was stuck in Camp Comeback and that whole mess, so he finally got a chance to vote, and he cast his vote to evict Keesha. Nicole Anthony did the same thing, and so did Ian, so at that point, I was just like, Keesha's going, but then again, you never know. They're going to commercial. Things could change. Did they change? No. Because followed by Ian, Nicole Franzel, Tyler, Christmas, Kaysar, Bailey, Davon, Janelle, Enzo, Danny, and Memphis all vote out Keesha. She is evicted unanimously 13-0. And part of me is like, not one person or a couple people couldn't throw her like a janky vote. Are we back on this whole thing of what the house wants? I thought this season we were going to, kind of push away from that. Or the house guests were, because I'm at home watching this. But still, I thought that they were going to push away from that. And then here it comes again. So Keesha's pretty much evicted. It's kind of sad, because either way with me, I was just like, I would be sad with either of them leaving, because I like them both as players. But Keesha was the one that was evicted. So Keesha interviewed with Julie. Julie made Keesha feel better by reminding her of her milestones and everything that she's done in the game. Keesha said that she's not surprised that Memphis didn't vote for her again. She's more than likely, or was in the game, more than likely thinking of how Memphis backstabbed her in the game. So she's just like, I didn't expect him to try to save me in any way. She said that people lied to her and people avoided her. Now, I was trying to figure out myself, because a lot of people were confused, like, well, who avoided Keesha? Like people on social media and on Tumblr and such. Well, it turns out Enzo and Cody told her, if things change and she's going to be evicted, that they would tell her. They didn't. No. Instead, what they did was that every time she walked in a room, they would leave the room or they would avoid her. So I'm just like... So we're back to that again, even just a smidgen. All right, so pretty much Keesha gets to see her goodbye messages. Janelle said she had fun with her. She loved her. She wanted to keep her in the game, but they did not have the votes. Memphis said, see you soon. At least you left with less tears, and Keesha kind of rolled her eyes at that. Kevin said, it's sad to see you go, but I'm still in the game. She kind of rolled her eyes at that. Davon said, I'm sorry. I wanted to play with you. I'm a big fan of yours, but it didn't work out that way. She kind of rolled her eyes at that. So I mean, she's entitled to feel how she feels. She's the first boot on the All-Star season, but I mean, she competed and she tried her best. But the whole thing with this All-Star season, especially having Cody as HOH, was that Cody became HOH to save his own skin, which is understandable. That's why most people become HOH. The thing about Cody is that he just picked Keesha and Kevin because they didn't chat with him. And it sounds like something similar to the way that people were evicted in his season. So, will this decision to get rid of Keesha come back to bite the house? Will people regret that? I'm thinking they probably will, because I really want to see what Kevin has up his sleeve. Because I don't think that he's going to allow himself to continuously be used as the pawn. If he figures out that he was the pawn, which I'm more than sure he's probably figuring that out right now, then he will not allow himself. I'm guessing, hopefully he doesn't allow himself to continue on that route of being used as a pawn. So anyway, we get to the HOH competition, which is called the Big Brother Watch Party. It's pretty much that thingy where like they got to turn the little square things and it's either true or false. So Kaysar and David were the first eliminated. Enzo was eliminated. Danny was eliminated. Nicole, Christmas, Kevin, Janelle, Ian. Then at one point it looked like it was like Nicole A, Bailey, Davon, Tyler, whomever else I forgot to say because Cody can't play. They were all eliminated and Memphis got it. The last question in the HOH competition was something along the lines of, was there a flower vase behind Grandma? And I'm just like, me at home, I'm watching this, I'm paying attention. I was just like, damn, I'm not sure. But Memphis remembered it and he became the HOH and I'm just shocked. Like, but then I shouldn't be shocked at all. I should have known that it was going to be another male that was going to become HOH. And I should have known it was going to be an old player that became HOH. I should have figured that one out. Anyway, Julie talks to Memphis. Memphis says he feels good about being HOH. He's looking forward to his letter from his son. He never won HOH before. She talks to Kevin. Kevin said his attitude is gratitude at this point. He's grateful to be in the game. Janelle says she's ready not to be a star. A literal, like, yellow star with the hat and everything. And that's pretty much it. And Julie Chen kind of, like, goes to commercial and she kind of comes back, or did she go to commercial? Well, you get what I'm saying. Anyway, she kind of like shows us or tells us what's going to be happening in the next safety suite competition. It has to do something with a bar or something. And she leaves the game by saying, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now, in the 20 years that I've been watching Big Brother, I don't ever remember Julie Chen repeating any sort of like quote from the Bible or really not having anything to say other than good night to us. So I'm wondering, was that quote supposed to be a kind of like, I wouldn't say, would you say it was a spoiler? It was kind of going to allude to what's going to happen next in the game. Like, is voting out Keesha going to come back and bite them in the butt? Or is there going to be another twist? Like, I'm trying to figure it out. Let me know what you guys think. But anyways, that's about it. So I'll be back live next Thursday. Thank you guys so much for watching my first video. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed this one tonight. It's 18 minutes this time, which, well, just turned 19 minutes this time, so it's all good. You guys take care. Check me out on Twitter. And this week I'm really going to watch the feeds because I want to know who Memphis is going to get rid of. As for Cody, my final thought is this with Cody and Tyler. Tyler really needs to get rid of that idea of making alliances with everyone in the house because it never really worked well with houseguests in the old seasons and people can see him coming. As for Cody, Cody's going to end up being targeted pretty soon. I had a feeling about that. It won't be by Memphis, but it's going to be by somebody trying to get back at Memphis pretty soon. And as for his comment that he said about not being a puppet for Derek, this week with his HOH, to be completely honest, like, he's kind of playing his own game, and at the same time, like, his decisions in the game have a lot of fans kind of looking at him like, dude, what are you doing? Because I was kind of confused as to why he put up Keesha and Kevin, and then when he said it, I'm just like, you're going to put them up because you didn't talk to them? There are bigger threats in this house, dude. You're aligned with quite a few huge threats who are eventually going to turn on you, especially Nicole. If I was in the game, I wouldn't trust her, but love you all. Take care, and I'll see you all next Thursday for the next eviction. Let's see who that's going to be. Until then, peace.